Hey, what's going on, True Fam? Welcome back to the channel. It's Whiteshadow, and today, guys, we're going to talk about the Streamlabs and Intel partnership and what that means going forward for streaming PCs and, of course, streamers everywhere. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so today, guys, we're going to be talking about a brand new thing that was just announced at TwitchCon, literally hot off the press. We're going to go in depth with the Streamlabs and Intel partnership that just happened. And what's so crazy about it is they're partnering to build these small 4-inch by 4-inch, what I think was the smallest one I saw, streaming boxes. They are literally Intel NUC or NUCs, and they're built specifically for streaming. Honestly, a really cool concept that I didn't see coming, and one that I'm actually pretty excited for, and I'd love to get my hands on one of these to review to really see if it can do 1080p at 60 frames per second like they claim. So I'm actually going to be sourcing a couple things from like The Verge and VentureBeat and some other websites out here, but we're just going to be taking a look at everything that this thing is going to offer. So basically, Streamlabs has partnered with Intel and a couple of Intel's board partners or manufacturers out there, and they're building these small form factor PCs called stream boxes. Some of the hardware specs that I have seen don't impress me, and honestly, judging it from a streaming standpoint, I don't see how it's going to be able to produce 1080p 60 frame per second stream unless it is that optimized. And Streamlabs has really taken this and said, all right, this is what we need to have for this thing, because all of these boxes are going to come fully optimized for Streamlabs streaming. Let's talk about the rear IO, and then we'll kind of get into like all of the specs and everything. So the rear IO is going to be honestly awesome, and I'll throw up a image here so we can kind of talk about it. One of the ones that they showed off here was Simply Nuke's EasyCast. It's a tiny 4-inch by 4-inch mini PC that has an i5 7300V Pro processor, and it starts at $29 a month as a part of a device as a service program. It's the first product of the partnership to be released, and it's got 8 gigabytes of memory and 256 gigabytes of storage. And I mean, those specs aren't anything to write home about, but like I said, we'll talk specs in here in a little bit. Now, the rear IO is the one that interests me the most of these specific streaming platforms. So it's got an HDMI out for monitors, gigabit LAN for smooth streaming speed. I'm going to put quotes on that. It's got one that comes from your PC into the system itself, or the little smaller streaming PC, 2 USB ports, headphone plus mic jack, and DC power. That's it. So it's enough for your mouse and keyboard and your webcam. That's all you need in your stream box. And of course, headphones if you need to kind of route your audio that way. Other than that, there's not really anything else that you need other than your monitor to run the streaming. And like, these are just going to handle the streaming of everything, and maybe a chatbot, but Streamlabs has chatbot integration already, as you guys know. Shuttle is another partner. They're making one called the Broadcast PC. No specs were kind of put out there other than it's going to be an i5, and it's 5.59 inches by 5.59 inches. Now, Zotac has one coming out called the ZBox MI 553B, and no specs were set at this time. And they also said that Acer is making one that is going to be debuting on the show floor of the Streamlabs booth at TwitchCon. Hopefully we get to see more about that one, because I think Acer makes some pretty top tier hardware, and I would like to see their implementation of all of this stuff. But what concerns me about these PCs is the fact that they come with just an i5 processor. An i5 isn't a optimal streaming processor. It doesn't have enough cores, it doesn't have enough threads. I mean, as a dedicated processor, maybe, but I still don't see how it's going to produce a 1080p 60 frames per second signal. That concerns me. If it was an i7, I'd be like, heck yeah, dude, let's do this thing. But as a Core i5, it doesn't impress me. I'd like to see Intel kind of pushing the envelope here, or Streamlabs pushing the envelope here. Now, Streamlabs may know something more about the i5 than I do, saying, hey, an i5 will do this. Does it have a dedicated GPU? I don't know. Does it have a 6-core i5? No, if it's a 6-core i5, that will actually work. I have more questions now than I did before when I first saw this. The concept is awesome. I can't wait to see what these things do, and hopefully I'm going to try to get my hands on one to kind of, you know, do a review of it. It kind of concerns me at the same time, because now people are going to look at these and be like, oh, hey, I can stream off of an i5. No, you can't. You can't stream and game off of an i5. Now, if you have a dedicated PC, you may be able to use the i5. I'm just going to kind of throw this out there for you guys. What do you think of the new stream boxes? What do you guys think of they're going to be like? Do you think they're going to be a viable option for a secondary PC? Instead of building a whole nother PC for your stream, you now have these small little form factor boxes that can handle the encoding for you, so you can game off of your main rig. And apparently they're going to be affordable. Now, the other thing that I saw that concerned me was the 8 gigabytes of memory. What then? Like, what then with the memory? What if you run out of memory? Streaming takes a lot of memory. I mean, and it's not got much storage either. So there's a lot of questions, and there's also a lot of it's new. I think it's going to be a great thing once they really tweak it. And also, I want to know if AMD is going to be on this, because in my opinion, Ryzen handles encoding better than Intel does right now. And to see them only using an i5-7300U V Pro, that's a laptop i5. So it's kind of nerfed a little bit when it comes to things like hyper-threading and all of that stuff, because some of the i5s and laptops do have hyper-threading, some of them do not. So another thing that concerns me is the fact that the one that Simply Nuke is putting out there only has 2 cores and 4 threads. That's a laptop processor. That's very concerning, because normally you need way more power to encode a stream, even if it's a dedicated stream machine. So using i5s is going to be a very, very concerning thing with these stream boxes, unless they are as incredibly optimized. But you guys sound off in the comments below and let me know what you think of this whole partnership with Streamlabs and Intel. Do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's actually going to sell anything? Like, I have so many more questions that I want to see answered when it comes to these things. I'm excited because it opens up a new avenue for the streaming technology hardware that we have out there for PCs. But at the same time, I am also very, very concerned because these specs aren't impressive. And from a technological standpoint, from my view, they are not going to handle a 1080p stream at 60 frames per second. And I feel like right now, if people go out and say, hey, I'm going to buy one of these, it's not going to deliver on the promise. Streamlabs knows what they're doing. Intel knows how to build a processor. Maybe they'll end up surprising me. But as it stands right now, the specs don't line up with what I know about streaming 1080p 60 frames per second and what it takes to encode that. Hopefully they'll surprise me. Hopefully these things will end up coming with an i5, but that remains to be seen. We're going to wait and see what Acer does. Maybe Lenovo will jump in on the game, and hopefully Asus, because you guys know Asus doesn't do a lot of things bad. Like, Asus is a top tier, honestly, one of my favorite manufacturers out there. So we'll wait for them to make something as well. But guys, that about does it for this video. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button before you guys leave today. I would super appreciate it. And be sure to follow myself and TRUgaming on all of our social media platforms. And if you guys are out at TwitchCon and you're viewing this at TwitchCon, be sure to come find TRUgaming, because all of our guys are there this weekend. Come hang out with them. So guys, without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. Whiteshadow out.